Hello and welcome to Chapter 85 of DC Alliance podcast. With me, as always, is Clay. Clay, how you doing this evening?
I am doing pretty good. I am interested in seeing how this show is going to turn out. I feel like there are going to be, uh, we had a little bit of a start of it right before we started recording, but we're going to get through this. We're going to see how it goes. But overall, I said right before we started recording, I'm tired. I had a day at work. That is long over with. I got my tea. I got you. We're going to be talking DC Alliance, and we're good, right?
Yeah, we're better than most people. I avoided Twitter on New Year's Day. I don't know how you could let a scoop
Oh,
ruin your
man.
New Year's Day, so I thought that was really funny. I basically this entire day was my girlfriend's birthday, so did all the things with her, and by the end of the day, I let her know that there was a Switch ordered for her, and we were waiting for it to get here. Got her this cool Harry Potter book with illustrations in the book. It was like a limited edition type thing. So she goes cuckoo for Harry Potter. So I can't judge because I go cuckoo for DC and Marvel. So
I we were just, talking about this in the GUA chat. I was so gung ho about grabbing my Switch, right? I was like super excited. Like me and Chris were talking about, okay, what are the best sales, whatnot. I was really attached to getting the new one with the new like 4K screen or whatever it is. And, Chris got me to basically go with the regular one. And unfortunately, do with everything that I do on a normal, regular schedule basis, podcasting, reading, which reading has been a really big topic of
we
2023
will talk about that later.
already, 2022, sorry. But yeah, I barely touch my Switch, and it's kind of sad.
Yeah, that's what I'm worried about, Clay. But we play a nice bit of Mario Party. So she's been wanting to play the new Mario Party. So I'm dying with that. I don't care. It's done and over with now. So can't look, no looking back. Just moving forward. Before we get into the craziness and a Peacemaker trailer and a little hint that I talked about both about comic reading and audio Clay had, I'm going to get through the network plugs first. We are part of the Geek Ultimate Alliance Network with podcasts 7 days a week, 8 podcasts in total. On Mondays is World's Finest True Believers with Chris Belga. That's where Chris and a guest take a look at a comic of a guest choice. There's a new episode out now. I have not had a chance to listen to that yet. Have you?
No, I have not. And I will probably get to it probably next week because tomorrow a new High Republic book for Star Wars comes out,
Ooh.
and so me and Katie have to prepare for that. Of course, we get 2 weeks to finish the book, and then we move forward from there. So I will be putting World's Finest True Believers and other podcasts on the back burner for just a little bit until I finish that book that comes out. By the time this comes out, so tomorrow. Really excited about that. But New Mutants is a series that I've always been interested in. It has
Same.
characters that I've always wanted to read. So I'm hoping this convinces me to kind of rip the band aid and jump onto that train.
That's usually how it goes with me when Chris does a comic run that I haven't read yet. I usually end up checking it out after it's over. I'm pretty sure I'm going to check that podcast out tomorrow or Wednesday. So check that out if you're a comic listener. They cover all different runs. It's great, Chris and every guest. That rotates bi-weekly with Ranger Alliance, with Clay and rotating guest host of Jake, Tony, and Joe. That's where they take a look at anything and everything Power Rangers, the comics, the old TV shows, and of course, everything that's happening with Netflix. It'll be coming. I can't wait to get news. I hope there's multiple projects for multiple different age groups. And I hope you guys get a ton of content from that. On Tuesdays is this show, DC Alliance, with myself and Clay. On Wednesdays is superhero discussions, where myself and Clay just reviewed the end of Young Justice season 4, the mid end season, I guess, or because they have never done a stinger midway through the season before. So I'm just going to call it end of season part A.
I was so upset, and I showed my frustration on the episode.
Yes.
I didn't even notice that there was a stinger or end credit scene until my second viewing when I actually let the credits go. But very good discussion overall. A very positive first half of Young Justice that will
Yeah.
come out, of course, the day after this, and excuse me, and then, I'm just looking forward to part two or part
Yeah.
B or whatever they call it. Yeah.
Just going forward, and that's on hiatus. That will be coming back spring of 2022. So in the meantime, we're going to be reviewing Spectacular Spider-Man over on Superhero Discussions. We already had the first two episodes. There's a couple guests already lined up for some other more episodes, and there's going to be a lot of solo episodes with me. Just filling in the gap until we get Young Justice again, and it's a fantastic show. Can't get enough Marvel animated content. Just can't get enough Marvel content, right, Brent? You know. On Thursdays is Star Wars Alliance with Clay and Katie. That's where they look at anything and everything Star Wars, like Clay teased. They have a new book that they're going to talk about, and they also have the Book of Boba Fett ongoing. So they have some Star Wars stuff. They threw you some bones, Clay. It's not like there's movies or anything that could be produced or anything right now.
Yeah, we have had a lot of shots fired
I
towards.
think I saw Katie retweet something today, and that's why I thought about it again.
Well, no, it's just this is supposed to be like the year for Star Wars, right? There is seemingly going to be 4 or 5, Disney Plus shows. We have an entire separate phase, or not phase, a whole wave of like 2 different waves of books. That being, of course, legacy books, legacy reprints, and main continuity High Republic books, as well as continuity like just stuff in between. I don't know exactly how they categorize those books that I'm very much looking forward to. I'm doing a lot of reading this year. It
Yeah,
is it is insane. But I like it's weird because there's all this news for Star Wars, but I have yet to see anything Star Wars. It's very weird, and I'm kind of conflicted on it. And I just want it to get here already, man.
yeah.
I want to see another lightsaber ignite. I think
I
that's
want a
all I need.
Kenobi. I want the Kenobi series. I want it yesterday. So I can't wait. But Book of Boba Fett in the meantime. So check those guys. Check them out there. On Fridays is Marvel Alliance with Chris and Brent, where they take a look at anything and everything Marvel. And Morbius just got delayed to April, I think. So that kind of sucks, and that has our antennas at DC Alliance up about the Batman potentially moving. Although I'll say that if the Morbius movie didn't move right now, I would not be able to see it. The theaters are shut down here. We went from 30 active cases 2 weeks ago to 4,000. So
Jeez.
that's quite a little uptick for here. I think 4,000 might be somewhere between 4 and 3. But yeah, so I wouldn't have been able to watch Morbius because there's no day and date plan with that. So I'm a little glad that it moved selfishly, but it sucks for those guys. I really wanted them. I really want to listen to their review of that. But they have a ton of stuff at Marvel Alliance, so check them out. On Saturdays, there's a walk through the multiverse with Joe. That's where he looks at anything that isn't Star Wars, DC, or Marvel. That's bi-weekly. We also have on Sundays Slice of Film. That's on hiatus right now. You can still check out Katie on Star Wars Alliance, but when that's ongoing, it looks at movies with a guest choice or current movies in the theaters right now. I can't wait for that to get back because I always enjoy Katie. The Ghostbuster one was quite good. I really enjoyed that. That
Oh,
was
did
cool.
you the new Ghostbusters? Did you
Yeah.
finally were you
Yeah.
able to see it? That's
Yeah.
awesome.
Yeah,
You know,
I had it on my Flickster. I was, yep, sold. Don't have to go to theaters or anything. Sold. Had it.
awesome.
And
No, I was just looking. You said 400 to 4,000, but between how long was that? As
oh, it
far
was
as
2 weeks.
2 weeks? Yeah. And just today, my city has reported 3,894 new cases.
Oh my God, how many people are in your city?
I have no idea.
Rough guess. Do you think?
Well, I think there's like 3 million,
Oh,
probably.
gee, we have 500,000 on this island in total.
Yeah, no, I last I looked, like the good thing, fingers crossed, that, of course, everything gets better, like always.
Yeah.
That's what you should be thinking. I believe about 75% of my city has both doses,
Oh,
or
nice.
just under 75%. But it looks like only it's really weird the way the ratios go. I think like only out of that 25% that is not double dosed, only 40% of them have one dose. And I'm
Okay.
just like, guys, come on, like
If you got one, why not go back for the other unless you had really
figure it
terrible
out,
symptoms?
people. Come on.
I
Yeah.
think we're 91% double vaccinated here, Clay. So that's not too bad at all.
Oh,
But
that's nice.
we have an older population here, so it behoves them to. They're of the generation that when your doctor tells you anything, you immediately listen to them.
Yeah, Frank, we're actually going to be talking about this very briefly because just before we came live, there is some news about some delays in
Yeah,
movies,
Morbius.
and if that is some concern for the Batman.
Well, the Batman's the next comic property on docket after the Morbius moved. So that's like you
So
said.
we will talk about that in just here in a second.
There may be somebody from GeekVerse that is having a mini panic attack about the potential of it moving. We will be devastated here too. We really can't wait to review the movie, but yeah, just a little tiny peek behind our GUA chat. There is one person that is having a mini freak out. Yeah, that's all the shows. DC Alliance goes live on the GeekVerse YouTube channel at 9 p.m. Eastern Time on Mondays. Star Wars Alliance goes live on the GeekVerse YouTube channel at 7 p.m. Eastern Time on Wednesdays, and Marvel Alliance goes live on the GeekVerse YouTube channel at 10 p.m. Eastern on Thursdays. Also, those three shows had their own solo feeds. If you want only Marvel content, only DC content, or only Star Wars content, you can just search either of those shows and subscribe to those solo feeds. But if you want anything and everything, stay subscribed to the Geek Ultimate Alliance on your podcast app of choice. If you can, take a quick 30 to 60 seconds to rate and review the podcast on your Apple Podcast. It is greatly appreciated. And we also appreciate anyone who likes the episode posts or in the chat, like Frank was earlier. Share the posts. Everything is greatly appreciated, guys. We also have a Patreon, 2 tiers, a $1 tier and a $5 tier. The $1 tier is a tip jar. You like what we're doing and you want to help us out. And the $5 tier is where you get your extras. You get your ad-free episodes, early access to episodes, and Patreon exclusive episodes. Done. Done. And
I feel like that gets longer and longer every episode.
well, sometimes I like to think I'm generous and team player here at GUA, where I'd like to talk about a lot of the individual podcasts, just in case someone's listening for the first time. I'm always a team player, Clay. You know, one
I
of
guess-
us grows, we all grow.
I was gonna say, I guess for me, I'm just like, we have shows, go listen. You know,
Yeah, but I'm just trying to give, you might think,
I
what
do-
are they coming
I-
out of Star Wars? But man,
I do need to elaborate. I think that for me personally, just because 2 out of the 3 shows here on the network that I host, there's not a whole lot going on, unfortunately, and that has changed with Star Wars Alliance. We got the Book of Boba Fett, so you know we are getting there.
I get some Power Rangers talk out of you. I suck some out of you when we're doing our opening intro here. You get a little bit letting us know what's on the go for your show.
Yeah, and I mean, I didn't do it this time, but we are getting more news. The rumor is, 30th anniversary next year. We're going to be getting a lot more stuff this year as far as news, possibly dates and things like that, announcements. That'll be really, really fun.
Yeah.
So, where are we going to go now? Where
We
do
are
we
going
want
to
to start?
take our first ad break,
That's probably a smart idea.
and then we're going to get into it. Just the ad breaks, just for podcast listeners. We're an ad support network. We don't pick the time or the volume. We don't pick the ads or the volume. Give you a quick 3 count to adjust your volume. We'll be right back in 3, 2, 1. And we're back. Okay, we got to talk about what dropped on New Year's. But before that, I just want to say one thing. YouTube listeners, anyway. I'm holding up my glass here of the sports ball team that I've cheered for my entire life. And it's the Toronto Maple Leafs here. It's a huge part of my life, much bigger part than DC ever has been. And I love DC. It's been passed down to me from generation. And if you think being a DC fan is painful, is not even in the realm of possibility. It's not even in the same stratosphere of pain that has been inflicted on me from tyranny. So I just want to tell people, calm down. Don't let stuff like this ruin your New Year's Day. Because I had to shut off Twitter and go back into enjoying myself because. I mean, crazy, Clay. Tell the listener what news am I talking about here?
Well, for one, when you pulled up that drink, I legit thought you were about to say all of that is just straight vodka, and I was like,
No, no.
"Holy crap!"
After some of the times,
After this conversation, or some responses that we may be getting after this conversation, I feel like I may need some vodka. But the big news here, coming from reports from multiple sources, not just the one from that one woman who thinks she's a scooper,
yeah,
it seems that not only are we getting a new Justice League lineup, which, may I say, looks great, looks crisp, looks like I would like a poster of them on my wall. But not only that, it looks like the two guys that are in behind us here on the YouTube channel are getting completely erased from the DCEU, that being Ben Affleck's Batman and Henry Cavill's Superman. So, Travis, I know you said like you had to shut off Twitter and everything else. We have had these conversations that Ben Affleck was going to say goodbye
Yeah.
years ago.
Yeah.
We already knew this.
yeah.
And this was like his swan song. He is getting the chance to say goodbye to the character.
Yeah.
Now I have to ask, what are your genuine thoughts? Like small reaction, like just what are your genuine thoughts on this news altogether?
I am happy that Ben Affleck is leaving because he clearly wants to. There were rumors before that he was given the opportunity to do a HBO Max series and said no. I don't know if those are actually true or not, but he said he don't want to do IPs anymore. So I'm clearly happy for that. I think without a shadow of a doubt, and I will say this for 100 times, erasing the other man there, the man that not only embodies Superman just looking at the movies, but actually in his day-to-day life, in just how he takes the role so serious and the way he talks about people, and he's fantastic. And snapping him, even though he says he wants to continue playing the character, or well I'm just going to say snap, but erasing him is a foolish
He got
decision.
Thanos.
Foolish decision, in my opinion. That's the thing that's frustrating to me. That's the only frustrating thing. The whole lineup, so having Supergirl there, having Batgirl there, that's all awesome to me because I saw some stupid asinine tweets.
Yes, and
today
that is
about,
the other news. That is the other news that Supergirl will be the super on the Justice League, and then Keaton will give. And it's so dumb that people are saying like, "Oh, Keaton's gonna give the mantle of Batman to Batgirl." I'm like, no, she's gonna be Batgirl, and she's gonna represent the Bat family in the Justice League. And they're like,
Yeah.
well, no, no, she won't be Batman. Like, y'all cut it out.
Yeah,
Like,
it's the same people that I've seen the tweets, the MCU. I've seen now they're turning it into
that just sounds like they have
DCU.
it sounds like they have a lisp.
Like I just
Sucker-
can't
sucker
stand that.
taff.
I'm really excited for this. I'm excited for the Batgirl movie. I'm excited for the performances here, and how they're going to do this. The only thing that will genuinely piss me off. I'm not going to lie. Maybe it won't how they do it, but I can't see why that it won't piss me off that they erase Henry Cavill. That will piss me off. It just will. I'm sorry.
It will. And
It will. But everything else, Clay, I'm
you
fine
got
with.
you got
I'm
a
fine
little.
with.
I could tell you were getting a little heated in our conversation
Well,
prior
I was a
to
little frustrated. I was like, I just
same difference.
I'm
So
over with that.
the thing that I brought up, because a lot of people, I get it, a lot of people who aren't Snyder bros still like Zack Snyder's Justice League. They like BVS. They like Man of Steel. I will tell you this: Man of Steel saved my life. I've told this story on Twitter. I'll give a small little snippet here. I was couch hopping. I was homeless, and then I saw Superman. And then for some reason in my life, I was like, I need to get my shit together because I have seen this man on screen, and I'm not homeless anymore. That was freaking like 8 years ago, more than 8 years
Eight
ago.
apartments ago,
Like
by
shit.
choice, moving by choice. But
Yeah, moving by choice at that point. But
Yeah.
I will tell you this. people are saying, "Oh, you're still gonna have Zack Snyder's Justice League. Oh, you can watch BVS. Oh, you can watch Man of Steel whenever you want." Yeah, I've always had that option, but there's a big difference. The Man of Steel movie only has so much character development, and then move on to BVS only has so much character development, and then I move on to Zack Snyder's Justice League, where I get only so much character development. After Zack Snyder's Justice League, there is no more character development. I am no longer going to see Henry Cavill don the S and develop as a character in new scenarios, teaming up with new heroes, which I want. Now, am I going to go about it bitching and complaining like some of these freaking losers
Son
out there?
of a bitch. Reverse Flash.
Very nice.
It
Very,
was me.
very nice.
Reverse Flash says it was me, Barry. Sorry, I had to say that
Damn
because
it!
I'm afraid you might erase it in the time there.
But that's my problem with this. I'm okay with Ben going because it was his choice. But it was always Henry's choice to come back to the character. Now, of course, there was all these talks about how Henry was trying to get, bukus of money because his movie started this whole DCEU and, trying to get negotiations into getting another movie, getting some more, cameo spots, whatever. And then seemingly because Dwayne The Rock Johnson and his agent were, kind of hyping people up falsely, are like, oh yeah, we something might happen. You never know. You never know. You never know. You never know. Stringing people along so that way they can get fans to watch their movie.
Well,
Like, that's
he
what that
said-
is all about.
No, he said at one point that he didn't know what Superman he was going to go against. The Rock did say that. So it was recently, like in the last couple months, but he did say that.
But beforehand, it wasn't.
Well,
that.
I guess he didn't even know then. There is a possibility. I will give him that because I think he would want Superman in there. And, although if I'm Henry Cavill, with some of the ridiculousness and I've heard in some of The Rock's contracts where he can't lose in a fight and stuff like that in the Fast movies, I don't know if I'd want him fighting Superman because he probably unrealistically beat him and Superman not even look anywhere near. So I in a way, maybe it's a good thing.
But with this whole thing, like, that is my problem. Is they're not giving the chance to Henry to even say goodbye to the character. They're basically like, "Hey, see you later."
Well, that's the rumor.
And for me, I'm not saying that I would rather have Henry Cavill Superman compared to Sasha Calle Supergirl. I want them both.
Yes,
They are two separate entities that I would like to see both have chemistry on screen.
Yes.
That's what I would like to see.
Well, Clay, what I would like to see with this whole thing is somewhat like Frank's kind of talking about it a little bit here. I'm starting to think that Crisis on Infinite Earths is in play down the line. This all feels like placeholders. In the meantime, we can fall in love with a new group of heroes. Which, Frank, this could be a long-term plan, but that does not sound like DC.
I
to me.
don't think it's a long term plan. I think that if you remember watching DC Fandom and that little, joke that Jim Lee and Tiffany Smith, the host, were doing, if you look at the puzzle pieces of the comic cover that Jim Lee was doing, he started to talk about it and they jokingly bleeped everything out.
Yeah.
And
But
then
they just
recently,
did this on the DCCW.
they did. But recently, we saw reports of a Crisis on Infinite Earths animated movie possibly being in the works. We all had that conversation in the GOA chat. I remember that. And I remember saying, oh, I think this is how people get their Zack Snyder's Justice League canonized or erased, whatever they decide, will happen. I think that they are going to play around with a Crisis on Infinite Earths and play around with animation, with live action, with TV shows.
When though? When? How? Like it won't be in this Flash episode, in this Flash movie.
I don't think it'll be in this Flash movie.
There's not enough time, so I don't know because what I'm saying is the Lion Game. They couldn't see through 5 movie plan. So if movie 2 hits critical and maybe financial failure,
Oh, these WB executives have worse ADHD than I do. I
yeah,
can
like that's what
barely
I'm
pay
worried
attention
about.
for
Like
5 minutes.
I want to
They're
get
not going to be able to
excited.
pay attention to
I
any
want to
of
get
this.
excited for this for this Flash and the potential new heroes. I will watch it. I will forever be frustrated with what they did with Henry Cavill, but that won't take away from Sasha Calle or Leslie Grace's Batgirl or any of the other heroes that come in, because I'm going to go in with that with an open mind. That's how I found Man of Steel, BVS, and Zack Snyder's Justice League. The same way, went in with an open mind. Same thing with other DC movies like Aquaman, the first Wonder Woman, not the second. Suicide Squad, The Suicide Squad, Birds of Prey. So I've enjoyed almost every DCEU movie, so I'm not worried. I can't. It really hilarious how people got so up in arms, attacking people, attacking Leslie Grace before for the Keaton news. Just you guys are really making people look great. Like I don't even love saying that I love those 3 movies sometimes with the weird like the association sometimes that you get with these. It's exhausting, Clay. That's I think the biggest thing. It's exhausting. I just want to enjoy these movies and
Well,
don't
I
want any more
mean,
shit.
you can enjoy the movies. If you
Oh yeah.
want to think about those guys every single time you watch those movies,
No, I meant like I just don't want to see them up in arms over every little thing. Like my blacklist continues to grow. It does get peaceful, but just to look sometimes at the replies, I'm just like, do you not have a better life for yourself than getting this mad over this? It's just and snarky
I'm
and
telling you now, if Zack Snyder himself came back and made the rest of his Zack Snyder's trilogy, these people would still complain. Why? Because they got mad at Zack Snyder making his Zack Snyder's Justice League movie.
it also gives them a sense of purpose that you lose once you get it, right? This is their whole life. Some of these people, that like you think that New Year's Day, everyone has plans. You look on Twitter, explode. It's just mind blowing.
Frank,
And
you say this. I refuse to believe WB doesn't want a mainline Batman and Superman in the DCEU down the road. They don't need one because they have the bat symbol, and that's really what
well, they have
sells.
the Batman, and then they have Superman and Lois. So you're getting your
Yeah.
doses of Batman and Superman regardless.
We're gonna be getting Valzad. We're gonna be getting a lot of Supermen down the line and super families, along with Sasha Kai's Supergirl. And you're absolutely right. The Batman that's coming out in March, hopefully, is all they need. They don't need a mainline Batman when they know that something like the Joker made $1 billion and it wasn't connected to anything.
And like I got a trilogy of movies here, and I can watch them, and they all kind of connect together and tell a story. So I'm fine. I didn't know if I would get any more than that, and that's okay with me. But I'm also not tweeting out hashtags every day. I like I said, I think that people really got their their panties in a wad for nothing. Like just really got mad. Like got your underwear in a bunch. The saying. I don't know what the
I
exact
mean,
saying
I mean,
is.
it is. These people are going to get angry, and again, I can understand the frustration for Henry, but these people already knew that Ben Affleck was
Yeah, that's the nuts thing. I see a
done.
lot of Ben Affleck make the Batman movie. Ben Affleck's the only Batman. I'm like, do you listen to anything he says, Ian? I got to show you this because I'm excited for this. This is the stuff that, well, anyone on the YouTube channel here, this is somebody tweeted about this. I think Heroic Hollywood, I might give them the credit, but is this the new Justice League? The Michael Keaton thing makes me laugh, but the rest of them, I
A
am super
nine a
excited.
9 member Justice League. That's crazy. From what the reports had said, it's gonna be Sasha Kaye, Leslie Grace, Gal Gadot, Urza Miller, Zachary Levi, Aquaman, and as of right now, that's it.
Guy in the
Now,
chair. Guy in the chair.
the guy in the chair is the guy in the chair. He's not gonna do anything other than talk.
I know, but that's who the guy in the chair is. Batman.
Cool. He's gonna be in front of the TV screen just like me. Cool.
Yeah. As
That's.
Michael Keaton, just doing what Michael Keaton quips and
I mean, again, I've told people I'm not super excited about Michael Keaton joining the DCEU because I think he's, just a super old Batman that has no interesting thing to add. other than, hey, his famous line that he tells everybody, I'm Batman, I'm Batman, I'm Batman.
What if he's
Cool.
wearing something like this?
That wasn't Bruce Wayne's suit. That was Azrael's suit. As
I know, but I'm saying, what if he wears something like this, or the bat? You know, the other suit.
if you give me the Justice Buster, it'll be a cool cameo from Scott Snyder's run of the of Batman. But again, like if you want to make him an Iron Man, just make him an Iron Man. That's
Well,
fine.
they could say already done in the Age of Ultron.
I
The
mean,
Hulkbuster.
well, the Justice Buster. Well,
I know it's different. It got
no, no,
out,
no,
but
no.
like,
Hold on. I have to think. I think the Justice Buster. I'm gonna have to look at publications because I think that the Justice Buster from Scott Snyder can't. Well, no, because I mean the Hulkbuster, like actual mainline Marvel, came out way before the Justice Buster, so that
yeah,
makes sense. Frank says Batman being older than Jim Gordon is just odd. It is. It is. They're gonna be like, hey, do you remember that time when? Oh wait, I don't remember you at all because I don't know you. But
like I said, personally, I would rather Ezra have his whole adventure, and when he comes back, like starts his adventure, sees Ben Affleck as Batman as Bruce, and comes back, and it's just a different actor. Just roadie that shit would be okay with me, and you just continue on with that person being Batman, and have Michael Keaton be stuck there. I think we're going to get a scenario, Clay, kind of like the end of Crisis on Infinite Earth with the TV, where you merge some of the worlds together, but leave other ones as it is. So I can see that happening, and some things changing on that Earth, that normal Earth for good too.
I I still think that we will have Urza Miller just, hey, let's reset everything and let's change things. And hey, who was that Superman guy? Not anymore. Like, that's what it's going to be.
I don't think that they will do that with Superman, or I hope they don't. I can't say I don't think. That's not true. After every decision, that's not a thing. I can't actually predict what they would do, or even guess at this point. I hope they don't do that. I hope that at the very least, if you send him out, he's been a. There's nobody that has been a better person for you guys. He hasn't said diddly squat. He's been quiet. He's been diplomatic. He could have went off so many times about how they don't know what they're at over there. They've been dragging it around for 5 years. He could say a lot, and he doesn't. He chooses just to take the high road. And it's just another impressive thing for me about him. And I would be thoroughly disappointed if he's just snapped away. Ben Affleck is already gone for me. He left after the moment I watched Zack Snyder's Justice League. I knew he was done.
Yeah.
And that's fine for me. I'd rather him be healthy and happy. But Henry Cavill still wants to be Superman. Henry Cavill looks like he was chiseled out of a granite boulder and blessed with powers from Zeus. And he's just a great actor. I love him. And if he's not here, sign him up as Wolverine for me, or sign him up as James Bond. He will be. You have such a star here, and he'll be gone. So it won't surprise me with DC, but it will disappoint me.
I'm saying he's always available for Doctor Doom. It would be so good. But I've
It's an
always said
interesting one.
I've always said
I think
Dr.
he's
Doom.
more of a Cyclops to me, but I don't want him to get that kind of brutal role where
no,
like your Wolverine's
no.
punching bag and.
No,
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 yeah, I don't
I
know.
cannot see him as Scott.
Oh,
No.
I definitely could see him there. He
No.
could be that like cardboard, like
Oh, no.
dry guy easily.
But overall, I think that this whole thing is, yes, blown out of proportion by really stupid fans. Yes, I don't even
Ezra
think I can
commented.
consider them. Well, even that, I read the comment, and let's go ahead and if you can bring it on screen, we can bring it on screen here. Basically, what Ezra says in this comment is he's basically talking to toddlers. So he's like, okay, guys, so just know that
well,
Zack
fans-
Snyder is forever in our hearts, and
Okay,
that
calm down a little
that
bit,
it
Clay.
that it can never be erased from your
Don't-
minds
you
because
can't
you've already seen it.
The person who asked the question, I will say, because I don't want, he actually did not sound like a baby or anything. He was pretty sensible. Fans are going crazy thinking the movie is erasing Zack's movies. They don't see the potential this movie will bring. He's actually being a complimentary, nice fan, not saying like, "Oh my God, restored Snyderverse" or anything like that. So let's not like throw him down the stairs here, call him baby or anything because like the other people reacting, yes, they deserve to
No,
be.
I'm saying that Urzra is having to coddle these fans and be like, "Oh, it's okay,
But
guys.
this
It's
guy's not
okay."
acting like that, Clay. He's saying they don't see the potential this movie will bring. Like this guy's not the one that's crying. He's saying fans are going crazy, but he's speaking to this one fan who's not even going crazy. So
Nah, I still see it
he
that way.
just says the weirdest kind of thing too, which is like no power force, blah blah blah, can erase Zack Snyder's works, and then he's like, you can take that quote, take that to the bank, to the press, to the schools, to the military, and the other pillar of capitalism. I'm forgetting because of that thing where if you try to think of a group of things, you always forget one of them. See, that's something like that sounds like a line from a movie more than anything,
Again,
like just gibberish.
it's nothing. This was a very easy thing for Ezra to just type up, and like I don't see why
It
people take
sounds like him though. It
uh,
doesn't sound like
it.
something somebody else would say. It
It
sounds like a
doesn't
weird ass thing he would say. It
even
does
still
sound like him.
even if it is his words. Like I'm not saying that it's not his words. What I'm saying is that his answer was a non-answer.
Oh
Like
yeah, 100%. It's gibberish.
Like him saying, "Oh, well, nobody can erase the megaverse, and
He
you
didn't.
know that you still have the movies in your house and on your computers
What
and
is
on your
with
phones."
you being
Like,
against that part? Like that, you've
like
harped on that multiple times, which is the actual fact. You actually have the movies. Like the way people they're saying that, Clay, because the way people were acting is as if you were going to have your movies taken away and your mind wiped, and you wouldn't even remember this movies existed
because
if you didn't
people are
even want to
using
choose
the
to
word
watch it.
erased wrong. That's the problem.
Yeah, but
Brent
people are
said it
reacting like
perfectly
that.
in the GUA chat, and possibly even just tweeted it out. I can't remember. Talking about, I think it was in the GUA chat, talking about continuity and how things work when it comes to comics. Now, a lot of the times, especially Chris can back me up on this when coming to DC and their Infinite Frontier that they just recently did. A lot of these stories will decide, hey, we want to cut this out of continuity because it's getting too muddled, things are getting complicated, and if we just start over from this point, it'll be good. But then, of course, they hear fans and they're like, ah, crap, people wanted that. Okay, well, you know what? We'll bring it back and do this with it. And so basically, what Britt was saying is things get cut all the time in comics, but eventually they will come back. I don't necessarily think he was saying that the Snyderverse will come back. Like, for me, honestly, I think everything should just be erased and start over. Like, and I heard some people say, well, if that's what you want, then you were never a DC fan to begin with. Like, I think that is very gatekeepy and stupid. Like, I like DC characters for what they are. Like, I don't care if Zack Snyder directed it. I don't care if Patty Jenkins directed it. I don't care if Kevin Feige decides, hey, I want to see if I can work with WB and make a DC movie. I don't give a shit. It's DC, so I'm going to watch it. Doesn't mean that I'm
Yeah.
going to like it. But what I'm saying, along with this whole thing with, oh, erase, 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 like, again, just like I said with Henry Cavill, there's so much that I can watch of him, but it's just that movie in that context for that limited time, you
Yeah,
know?
but if you're a Brandon Routh fan, you have one movie to watch of him in a limited time, and you got him coming back for that little tiny tidbit of. So you have even less. And if you're a fan of Chris Reeve, you probably have the amount of screen time, the exact same
But
amount,
am I
or
am
the
I am I here clamoring for more Brandon Routh? Am I here
you do hear
clamoring?
that. You do hear people say we want Kingdom Come Brandon Routh. I heard a lot
Well,
of that.
I'm not talking about other people. I'm
No,
talking
I'm
about
just
me.
saying when you talked about the people with the movies and that they don't like about the raising and people saying that they still have the movies there. I'm just saying that that's what people are saying that you can't like they can still have that experience of watching those three movies regardless of what happens. You can still go off and enjoy the rest of DCU's, but I'm saying like me personally, I'm going to enjoy these
Maybe
three
it's just
movies
because
when I
I'm
watch
not
them.
I'm not an individual and I said this. I'm not an individual that really likes to rewatch movies. I watch movies like however many times I'm gonna watch it in the theater, and then I'll watch it at home maybe one other time, and then if somebody else in my family or me randomly stumbles upon something on TV or wanting to watch something in the background, hardly watching, I'll put it on. But like Man of Steel, I don't think I've seen it since the announcement of Zack Snyder's Justice League.
Well, there's a lot of people that watch these kind of movies regularly, like not just like Homecoming. I watch Homecoming so much. I listen to fans. Brent said like arguably probably watched Homecoming the most of any MCU movie. So there are a lot of fans that watch these movies a lot, and that's the thing I'm saying. Even if they take it off HBO Max, like Joe in the chat is coming off HBO Max.
Erasing Henry.
But I can still watch this movie whenever I want. That's the thing. Is what I'm trying to say is that people are freaking out about it. Like you're going to get mind wiped, a la Doctor Strange from No Way Home. You're not. You're going to still have those movies. And if you choose because they're doing this to not watch DC, that's fine and dandy. I, for one, am not going to be like that. I am excited for what's the Batgirl, Supergirl, everything else. I mean, The Flash, Aquaman, Shazam, Black Adam. I'm excited for every single one of these projects. So
Frank says the Snyderverse is dead. Just bring Darkseid back in a huge way. The funny thing is, Darkseid is not a part of the multiverse. He is the one constant. He is outside of the multiverse.
well, that's what is said in. That's what's kind of implied in the Zack Snyder's Justice League. But who's to say that's even true, Clay? They could just wipe that. That's never said, and maybe there is multiple different dark sides. Maybe they won't go that route because you said earlier that, and you said Brent said that this is things they do normally in comics. I don't trust DC to know that at all. That's the thing.
Well, DC would know it. WB wouldn't.
That's what I mean. When I say that, I meant WB.
And we have seen that already because WB was like, nah, I want to be a little baby bitch, and make sure that Ava DuVernay's New Gods movie doesn't come out because Zack did it first, So this is what we have to deal with because there's very incompetent people who don't know how to make these types of movies.
If they choose, like I said before, if they choose to wipe Henry Cavill, Ben Affleck's wiped to me, but if they choose to wipe away Henry Cavill, I'll be disappointed. That's fine. But I will still watch the future projects because those people making the directors and the actors and the people involved in those movies, not the higher ups, but those people, they had no choices in any of this stuff. They're just telling their stories the way they want to tell them. And that is fine by me. I'm excited for. There isn't a project I'm not excited for. And I think there's going to be some hits that I don't even like. Blue Beetle. I think Blue Beetle's going to be.
I'm not excited for Super Pets.
That one is excluded for me too. That's the only one. I didn't even count that in the what's coming. But everything else, I'm really excited for. And there's things in those like I can't believe we're going to get to see Dr. Fate in live action. I'm so excited for that. He actually looked fantastic, Clay, in Smallville. I don't know if you watched Smallville through the whole thing or not.
Have I watched Smallville? I watched that live on my tube TV, thank you very much, before flat screens.
I watched that live and it went and watched Birds of Prey thinking it would be connected.
It technically was for like the first 3 episodes.
Michael Rosenbaum, I'm pretty sure he told a story where he didn't get offered a raise because of how bad that show did, or so they blamed him not getting offered a raise because that show did bad, which is hilarious in its own right. But I'm excited for everything DC, Clay. I can't wait. And like I said, it'll bum me out, but it's not going to make me stop. Like you said, I love DC first and foremost, so I'm going to watch it. I'll be disappointed I get no more Henry Cavill, but maybe Sasha Kai blows me away, and I'm like, oh my god, this is amazing. But then probably I would say, I imagine how awesome it would be having you with Henry Cavill. So
I have seen Sasha in her soap operas. I'm really interested to see what she does in a high budget movie. How well she does alongside movie actors and not just TV actors. So it'll be very, very interesting. I'm very excited about her performance. Everybody else, I have loved Zachary Levi as Shazam. I've loved Gal Gadot as Wonder Woman. I've told Travis, I'm excited to see her performance as Batgirl, but I'm not necessarily like, oh, she's going to be the best thing in the world. Like, I have to see her performance. And if I'm not excited about it, then I'm not going to be excited about what's going on in, the Flash. Now, apparently, she's going to be at the end of the Flash movie. That's the next, part that we technically haven't even talked about yet. Is the fact that at the end of the Flash movie, it is rumored that they are going to basically come up with a new Justice League cast. They're going to join and become the new Justice League.
Yeah, which I don't know. I showed the picture of the potential Justice League there. I'm gonna wait on that. Let's calm down with the we got some rumors that are already don't know if they're gonna true. So I don't want to get everything spoiled
People
like that.
people talk about it. I mean, there has been some things that I accidentally clicked on for the Batman that I didn't want to know recently. So people, just so you know, you may
careful
want to
out there.
start your mutant of words. I've already said I'm going to give it until the end of January. So whatever I stumble
But
upon,
you're waiting to see if it gets delayed. Okay, smart man.
I am.
We'll probably will have that discussion, maybe even next week about it
Yeah.
being delayed. This was a lot more positive. I think you're looking forward to the DC projects as much as I am. You like Henry Cavill as much as me. We will both be disappointed if he's gone.
Yeah, I am looking forward to Shazam. I am looking forward to. I'm interested to see what they do with the Flash. What else is out there? I'm excited for Blue Beetle. To be honest,
I got a
that's
question.
really
Are you excited for the JSA members of Black Adam? Because that's something that I don't think people are talking about enough. That could be other potential characters added to DC EU roster that you could see come back again if they're fan
again like
favorites.
other than Pierce Brosnan. I need to see everybody's performance of it.
I know one thing. I'm super interested to see Adam Smasher how they do it in live action because I used to love him in animation. He was in just a couple episodes. I
He
want
was
to
only
say
he was only in 3 or 4 episodes, to be honest. He was a very small. I like the Atom Smasher, just because I always liked his costume.
yeah, it had I think I'm not sure if it's either Justice League Unlimited where Task Force X breaks into the Watchtower or if it's Crisis on Two Earths where they come across and they fight on the Watchtowers. One of the
Yeah.
two times I think he's
Yeah.
on the Watchtower. I think it might be the Suicide Squad Task X thing, but I could be wrong there.
Because we couldn't have an entire episode without it being said the hierarchy of the DC universe is about to
Hierarchy of
change.
power. Good try, Frank. You forgot power. Rock would be disappointed. The
So
hierarchy of power.
we're gonna go ahead and take our second ad break, and then we will move on to
Peacemaker trailer.
Peacemaker. So let's go ahead and give you that 3 count, and we will be right back. 3, 2, 1. And we are back. So,
Ready for another trailer, Clay?
yeah, I guess. We were talking about this in the GUA chat, and Chris was like, I don't see why people are so surprised every single time they watch this trailer or a trailer for Peacemaker. It's basically the same thing we've seen from the Suicide Squad. And before we actually started, I said that wasn't fair to say because in the moments that, even in the preview, if people were just watching the GIFs and everything from this, he is 10,000 times sillier and kooky and whatnot than he was in the Suicide Squad, I believe.
Oh my God, no! I agree with Chris 110% on this. I think that
Are you kidding me?
His stuff talking about the bags of dicks and that, and eating dicks and freedom on the beaches and everything.
But he
said-
wasn't making faces. He wasn't sticking out his tongue. He wasn't.
because we didn't get enough time with it, and we're still getting to learn about him. We don't know what he experienced growing up.
But those two portrayals of the character is, yes, weird and trying to be funny, and then going 0 to 100 in 0.25 seconds with these trailers.
I think that this could be different points in time. As like I said, I think you might be getting too much into the trailer part instead of just taking trailers as scene, not connected. This could be the this could be the first episode here, and we could see growth by the 5th episode. I don't know exactly. We don't know what happened to him post.
But this is after
Suicide Squad. That's what I mean.
Squad.
We don't know what happened to him post Suicide Squad. What he goes through.
This is it.
What is it? Him speaking to the children or him?
These trailers, this show, we are seeing a glimpse of it.
you're getting scenes of it, Clay. I think you're going into this with not the greatest mindset, so I don't think you're going to enjoy it first of all. But I don't know. But you're saying thing with your comment in the chat about him interacting with heroes. I didn't know what you thought you were going to, or him interacting with other top tier talent. I don't didn't know what you thought you were going to get here because I never thought he was going to act with any great actors or actresses like he did in the Suicide Squad movie. Or maybe that's the reason that you did enjoy him more
But
and
that's
he was
but
less
he
annoying, maybe?
in those scenes in the Suicide Squad, I liked him because of his chemistry with the other actors. So I'm like, cool, let's see what we get from this show. And then I see this, and I'm like, that's not what I wanted whatsoever.
This is
That's not what I was expecting. So you can't say, oh, it's the same thing you were
this is a
expecting from the
hundred
movie.
percent what I was expecting. 100%. This is not any different than like I saw people getting outraged about what he said to the children about Wonder Woman, and I'm like, this is exactly what I would expect him to say. Wouldn't expect him to do anything different here. I think it's exactly in
Well,
line with the character.
I don't care about his verbiage and whatnot because he's shown that in the Suicide Squad movie.
No, I just think
But
he's
his
even that story. He's full of shit. He could be lying completely about that. And people are like, "Oh, he really seems like the honorable, truth-telling guy." Hunter, like he maybe even never even met Wonder Woman. If Wonder Woman met him, how come she didn't take him down? There's just so many open-ended things there, and he's speaking to children who won't really he'll believe anything he says. So I just think that people get outraged because he said that. I saw people saying like this is how the DCU treats Wonder Woman and stuff like that. I'm just that was a little over dramatic for me.
I don't again, I don't care about that stuff because it's James Gunn. I can understand the lengths of what James Gunn will do, but going with the character and saying, okay, I can notice when he will do these things sometimes, but like again, this is one of those moments where it may be, oh, all the funny parts are in the trailers. Like I may get some of that stuff that I saw in the Suicide Squad. I may not. I don't know.
I
But
think you're
from
going
what
to
I
get
am seeing,
some of that, but I think you're going to get some seriousness in the character too,
well,
or
we'll
some
see. We
exploration.
have what, a week
Yeah,
until
week, a little bit less than a week, a little bit more than a week. Sorry,
it's supposed to debut on the 13th, I
yeah,
believe.
I think
So,
it's might be the same time as Superman and Lois. I could be wrong. It could be a day earlier.
2 days after, I think. 'Cause
Oh,
Superman
okay.
and,
Jeez, I'm
I
all over
think
the
I
place.
think Superman and Lois and Naomi are coming out the same day on the
I know it's
11th.
next week for not, yeah, next week for Superman and Lois. So
Okay. Well,
yeah,
let's go ahead and jump into this trailer.
yeah. So we open with him talking to children.
And we see this scene of he has a
We
shield.
we got that explosion that you saw too. That terrible shot that was
I think
clipped
this is
out.
a different explosion,
Well,
actually.
no, he chose the same thing. He chose that thing. Watch, he threw that thing that he put together with her in the end of the grenade, and
Oh, I guess so. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
yeah, so he chose that, and we get that same explosion thing there.
And
And this
then,
is we get the
this is
Wonder
where we
Woman.
get the Wonder Woman comment. And then the parent freaks out and is like, "What? I just said the F word." And then, like, his
He said, "I said effing." Yeah,
effing, that's what he said. Yeah.
ugh, I might not be. I don't know if I'm going to be a fan of this portrayal. I can tell you
A
that.
vigilante.
Yeah,
I mean, again, James Gunn is gonna James Gunn, so I can't expect any character to be what they were in the comics. The suit looks nice. Um,
yes.
for me, the one scene in this trailer that didn't really get me excited about Vigilante was the torture scene.
Okay, we'll get to that. But
Yeah.
I think that I don't know. Not a really big fan that he's basically like a younger brother to Peacemaker type. He looks up to Peacemaker. We get that explanation in another thing that I saw, another YouTube vignette talking about Peacemaker the show, and he's going to basically look up to him and know all his exploits and know who he is. So I don't know. We get some pretty brutal death scenes here too,
Yeah,
and
I feel
some
like the action is going to be fun. It's going to be, there are going to be cool parts about this show.
Could you see her being a love interest? And there's rumors of this character as well being like going across to DCU. Did see something of her showing up in another project potentially.
I don't care about her.
Yeah, do you think you don't care about her? Look at the eagle locking. I did not notice that. That is actually that actually makes me laugh.
I honestly don't care about anybody other than Peacemaker in this show.
Oh, you will end up caring about the guy in the back.
I mean, he's King Shark's mocap. Like,
But
that's
he's
basically
hilarious. He's funny and everything. And if you're a New Girl fan, I'm talking about Dave, the homeless guy. That's him. And he could not be more funny as a character actor. And I think people will really actually like him. I thought he was good in the Suicide Squad. So I love that they're bringing two characters from the Suicide Squad along with Peacemaker, which just brings more continuity in. And this is the first time ever, folks. I think it's the first time ever for DC that a character that debuted in the movies is coming into TV. So it's that same character.
Urza is Flash.
Yeah, I just meant like a whole show about them. That's what I meant. Like kind of like with the Disney Plus.
Oh well, yeah,
Yeah, like they're getting a character from the movies getting their own show on TV.
yeah.
So it's the first time for DC. So I'm rather interested to see how much they're going to connect with the bigger DCEU.
I still think that this is going to have some sort of connectivity to the next project that James Gunn is planning on doing for DC. I still think that's another Suicide Squad movie, but we'll see.
So we get some more action. Like I said, she's a very big badass, which is awesome. And I don't know. I liked her in Orange is the New Black. I don't know if I'm going to enjoy her in this.
We've seen this scene 3 times now. Every
with
single
3 different
trailer.
jokes.
No, it's the same joke. It's you don't have to shoot them after they're dead.
I think there was one like saying like he was saying like they're already dead or something along those lines. I was
Yeah.
Kind of a different like wording of it.
And people were saying, "Oh, do you think they're gonna put Guardians of the Galaxy in this marketing?" Of course they are. It's one of his biggest movies out there. Of course they're gonna market towards the general audience to get, those views on HBO Max.
Who is this green villain? Do you have any idea?
I recognize the costume. I don't remember the name. But this scene right here, the very end, is this torture scene, where this random dude is torturing Vigilante, and John Cena is like, "Oh, I like it when you do that. I'm not gonna give him anything," and that's when Vigilante's like, "Oh, well, maybe give him something." He's like, "Nah, I'm good," and that's how it ends. It goes on to the sugar tits joke.
Sweet cheeks first, and then sugar tits.
Yeah, and how that's offensive or whatnot. This is gonna be a show on HBO Max.
I gotta say I'm excited about this. I at the very least I'll probably, if Clay doesn't like it after our first 3 review, I'll probably just do something on Patreon for it, or maybe throw a little like post credit solo thing into the DCA episodes just for 5. But I probably, it depends. I gotta enjoy it first. But I did like the trailers, and I laughed a lot more than I didn't laugh.
To be completely honest, we're already getting almost 50% of the entire series at the start.
Yeah. Well, 40%. I did the math. Whereas for Titans, we had 23% of the show at the drop.
So I may just stick with it, to be honest.
You did it. I'm pretty sure that you said that you had the same kind of feelings about Doom Patrol. That you were like, "Oh, this is going to be like stupid and weird," and it ended up being awesome.
and I'm cool with getting. I've always said this. I'm always going to give things a chance because of Doom Patrol. Like seeing this team of wackos and thinking, "Oh, this is going to be stupid," and then enjoying it almost through its entire 3 seasons that it's gotten. I'm going to give the same opportunity to Peacemaker. So, although I may not like the humor right now, it may play off really well with actual context.
Also, the movie quality special effects, the movie quality action scenes, fight choreography, all that is going to be so refreshing to see comparative to other things that we have watched or reviewed lately. Uh, there's a DC CW show or two I'm thinking of in particular. So to see this from DC instead, because this was part of my rant, Clay, when you weren't here, was the Flash TV show and the Arrow TV show. Those were great, but you gotta keep building. You gotta keep getting better. You gotta keep doing more. You just can't sit on your hands for 4 years and think let's just keep churning out the exact same thing and not have any idea of how to make better TV shows, like have like higher stakes, like bring more audience in. And this is what the Disney Plus shows on the MCU and the boys. They raised the bar for comic book television. And I don't know if the Peacemaker will answer it, but it is clearly the first thing from DC that is in the vein of those Disney Plus shows.
Yeah.
And I'll be excited to check it out, and I hope I like it. And like Frank says, I wonder if a well-known DC character is introduced in Peacemaker or even included from the DCEU. I don't know. It could be. I feel like that might have got out, but who knows? I'm excited about it. I know Clay's a little less excited, but we will do the first 3 episodes, and who knows? Maybe we will have a Doom Patrol scenario here.
Maybe. I'm still willing to eat crow if by the end of episode 3 in our review I'll say, fuck it, yeah, I like it. I'll watch the rest of it.
And you know what it should be, which will be here. It'll be awesome. That's all. And move on. It's just the way it is. Just wicked. So, listeners, we'll take our final ad break, Clay, and talk about your.
Well, I mean, there's some other stuff, and it hasn't quite been the amount of time that we need
Okay.
for an ad break yet. One thing that we did skip over that we kind of glossed over. We didn't skip it altogether. There are more and more reports of Wonder Woman being a part of the Flash. We're kind of going back to that real quick. Now we've seen recently some photos of her in dress and makeup. Getting her all get up done for filming of that movie. Do you like seemingly, if we are to agree with these rumors and whatnot, that she is gonna be there to be alongside the rest of the new Justice League, we have to also assume that she's probably gonna be in this movie for more than just that scene. So what do you think her involvement is going to be?
I saw those pictures and of her getting ready in makeup, and I think there's probably a higher chance that those are from Shazam. And I think
That
she
is
was
true.
part of Shazam. There was rumors about that as well. I think people are just trying to connect the dots with the Flash news that has come out about erasing things and continuity. So I think people are trying to jump the gun to be like, oh, this is her getting ready for it. She's still going to be included. I think that because of Shazam going up against gods, I really feel like we could see Wonder Woman in this movie. And we know David Sandberg, he made references to the greater DCEU before, and he wrote a scene for Superman to be in it. So I could essentially see him writing and putting Wonder Woman in for a few scenes and being like, if we don't get her, we'll just do this instead. And they actually be like, okay, yeah. Because I see that fitting in more than the unless they're going to really lean into the Flashpoint aspect and have like Wonder Woman and Aquaman at odds, and you get both of them in the film. I don't know how Wonder Woman fits in as much there, but I don't know. I'd be excited, Clay. I mean, I just love seeing Wonder Woman, and the last time I saw Wonder Woman, I really enjoyed her, but her last solo experience left a sour taste in my mouth. So I'm just
A
excited
little
to see
bit.
her be a badass. I did not enjoy that movie. And it wasn't because of Gal Gadot, really, but it just was a mess comparative to the first one for me.
Yeah, and for me, I kind of wonder if maybe, alongside the whole thing with fighting gods and Shazam and whatnot, maybe if this whole thing with Flash is true, that, this could possibly be a moment of recruitment for Wonder Woman, if timelines match up and everything else, maybe like we're going to see the Flash first, but maybe in Shazam we can tell that Shazam takes place technically prior to the Flash movie, you know?
Yeah.
So just wanted to touch up on that because I know there was a lot of talk about Gal Gadot recently. So just wanted to touch up on that. But
We have one other thing as well.
yeah,
The
the
Batman
Batman.
Funko Pops have leaked, and just want to make sure all of those are in these pictures because it says there's 12, and I only.
Three, four, five, six, seven, eight, nine. I only see nine in these
Okay, well,
pictures.
this is good then. This is shout out to Wonder Meg, who had this in her Twitter page. She shared them.
Oh, that's the
Just a
one I was
picture.
looking at. It's nine.
Yeah,
One, two, three.
there's a story there as well.
Oh, okay,
So I
cool.
wasn't sure if that. So we have Oswald Cobblepot. We have Bruce Wayne. We have Bruce Wayne again. This one seems like it's yeah, it's the bat. He's in the bat suit, but with the mask off. And this one's he's in a dressy Bruce Wayne suit, kind of like the one he was wearing at the funeral. We get Selena Kyle in a and no, I thought it was a power suit. It seems like just a version of the Catwoman suit, and then another version, the Cat Burglar suit. And we have Batman in the bat suit, looking like he's ready to box. Batman in the bat suit, kind of looking like he's ready to box again.
No, I think one has the. If I'm looking at it
Yeah, there's
correctly,
a white thing above
I
there.
think it's the. He has like a batarang in his hand, uh, and then there's one with the glider that is.
Yeah, the glider right there, and then this one where it looks like he's breakdancing. No,
No,
I'm
he
just
he
joking.
has his fist up. I think that one is. It looks like he's scratched up on the last
You're
one.
right. You're right. There is good eye, Mister Funko.
Yeah.
Yeah, right there
And of
over his
course,
eyes,
these are
over
going to
his
be
nose.
your variants, your chases. So once these go on sale, make sure to have either pre orders and have some good connections with your local comic book shop. So,
Yeah, so that's super cool. I'm gonna get a few of those. And one other thing we didn't talk about with Peacemaker, there's gonna be a post credit scene for every episode.
every episode, yeah.
So like at least we know, not like Young Justice.
Yeah. Yeah. But like, I also posted this in the chat. James Gunn showed a few images to basically show what his inspirations were for the Peacemaker series. I made some jokes about it, mainly because the very first picture he posted on that was the original Captain America, and I'm like, yeah, that worries me a little bit. Now I understand because of his age, this is a movie that he probably grew up on, and so looking back at it now, because of the way Peacemaker acts and the style of which he is filming, it probably helps him a little bit to play into that kookiness of what Captain America was. But we shall see how everything goes.
I did read it pretty. It was pretty interesting that he came into it as like a Full Metal Jacket
Yeah,
scenario, and James Gunn told him to be that douchey Captain America instead. Like he had a whole different. He told him not to consume the source material.
that makes sense. Yeah,
So I guess there could be a more serious, which I could see that actually could see less jokes and more of a like this guy's absolutely more like his grandfather, father. Sorry, and I think we might get that. We might get the more comic accurate style Peacemaker in the form of his father.
yeah.
So, but I don't have much. I have an old issue of Peacemaker, but I'm afraid to take it out of the wrapping because I'm afraid it might just crumple to dust. It's not a very good grade. If I sent that in to get graded, they'd be like, "Why did you waste your money?"
Oh, and also Peacemaker premiere has actually been canceled as well in LA due to the Omicron variant of
Yes.
COVID-19. Of course, LA is also looking to see possibly other cancellations throughout the month. And again, this brings more worry to what other cancellations will be throughout the year, especially this first quarter.
I understand if they move the Batman if theaters are closed because this is a movie that will make bank if theaters are open at full capacity.
Yeah.
This movie, I'm fairly confident this movie is going to be I think get that big opening weekend Batman push, but then it'll get the critical legs, the word of mouth. I think that will you'll get your multiple viewings for people, and I hope, like I said, if my theaters are still closed in March, I hope it's delayed until October. So I don't want to miss it or have Clay have to FaceTime me during during the movie.
Yeah, like I said in the chat that I'm probably already going to be making preparations for renting out a theater sometime soon just to prepare. Even if, everything is safe in March, if it doesn't get moved, I will still be more comfortable with the fact that, there's people that I know are being safe and COVID free rather than all the other 3,000 idiots out there that have now had Omicron. So.
Well, who knows? There might be some circumstances. Just thought I'd
Yeah,
slide
I'm
it in there.
gonna still call them idiots. I mean,
Surprised you didn't say COVIDiots.
so that's the end of the show. No, no. Actually, we're gonna go ahead and take one last ad break, and then we're gonna bring up something that actually started a little bit of a trend and possibly implement it into the show if somebody is up to the challenge.
Oh,
So maybe. We'll see what goes on. No promises here at DCA because we're not even sure if we're going to be reviewing shows, apparently. So we will be right back. And we are back. So I read a lot. Not only with Star Wars Alliance, not only due to Batman News Weekly, where I read Batman books every single week. I read because of Ranger Alliance. I read because of my free time with manga and whatnot. So I decided with my 300 plus, well, technically, I'm looking at Comixology right now. If I sign in, looking at this real quick, I have 600 plus books on my list, I think. Let's see here. Library. I have 111 series. Yeah, it's about 670 something with 300 plus that I have not read.
oh
So,
wow.
because the big thing with digital comics is every Sunday or so, I think it's every weekend, really, they have digital sales. And, some things like the Hawkeye series on Disney Plus makes this opportunity for book alliance announcement.
The Book
S
Alliance Book
Bubs,
Club.
S Bubs, I do not need another podcast. He also said this. I didn't even read this. Wonder Woman, you've become a part of the smaller universe. You just don't know it yet. But I have created a challenge for myself. With these books that I have, so many, because of digital sales, I wait until they are possibly the lowest that they can be, and I just scoop as much as I can. So I did the math with everything that I have physical that I haven't read and digital that I haven't read, as well as the average comics that I read every single week due to podcasting. It's come out to about 865 comics. So I have come up with the Comics Reading Challenge of 2022, and I started that on the second, maybe even on the first. I think it's well, today's the third. I started yesterday. It was the 2nd of January of 2022. I have read officially now 30 comics between the 2 days. And I'm going to continue to see how it's not like I'm rushing to get to 865. 865 is the goal. If I don't get there, then I'm just going to create a new reading challenge for next year, basically to keep me accountable to finally read all the books that I actually buy instead of just letting them collect dust or
Yeah, that's
digital dust.
good policy.
So, Tim over at the DC Squadcast has joined me on this challenge. Joe, fellow Ranger Alliance co-host and a Walk Through the Multiverse co-host, has joined me on this challenge. I have seen multiple people on my old co-host for Comic Book Legion podcast, Mark. I love you, Mark. He has started the challenge as well. Chris has semi done the challenge, and same thing with Joe. They are not putting a number to it, but they are going to be committed to reading more than they would normally, and or just reading more in general. For me as a kid, I hated reading. When it came to like my summer assignments where I had to read a book and then like write a paper about it, I literally waited until the last week and just made everything up just by looking up the cover because I hated reading. So I always got bad grades on those assignments. But I love reading comics and I love being in this medium of nerdom that I'm a part of. So if anybody would like to join, I think that would be awesome. Use the hashtag Comics Reading Challenge 2022. And you know what? I'm going to announce this now. For those of you, we're going to make this kind of like a reading club-ish if you want to join. I am basically exclusively on Twitter. I don't use Facebook or anything. So if you guys, for DC, well, for anything, because I'm reading manga, I'm reading Marvel, I'm reading DC, indie, Power Rangers, I'm reading everything to get to that 865. I will be checking in every 4 months throughout this year, and I will put a call out every 4 months here on DC Alliance. I'll make sure to shout it out on Twitter as well. If you guys meet your goal, you will be put into a drawing at the end of the year. And I don't know what it's going to be yet. Maybe I can talk to my local comic book shop or something. I know that we recently, and I need S-Bubs, you're in the chat right now. Did he ever get his Titan stuff?
Not yet. It's been sent.
It's been sent, but it just hasn't reached.
It's going to take
customs. Customs to
S-Bubs.
Canada is just.
S-Bubs, you may not get that until the Batman comes out, and I'm talking about if the Batman gets delayed because I'm not rolling in the priority plus sending to you because it would have cost more than the books were even.
Oh my goodness!
The books would have been worth on the black market. So when you do get that both books,
awesome.
you read them, but.
But guys,
wait, Clay. I am joining the challenge. I told you before. I'm just taking the seal off a book I bought the other day.
Is that Justice League America?
Yes. Unfortunately, I already had this. I forgot. I thought I had Volume 2, so I have 2 copies of Volume 1.
Nice.
So yeah, I'm going to take a look at this, but this will not be the first book I will be reading because there is another book and a tease for another potential content thing, but that will be read by me with a nice tall mug of tea tomorrow morning.
Nice.
And that's all I'll say about that, but I will get several issues. I'm going to shoot for 250 issues, Clay.
250. Now, I will say, people are, making crazy goals. They're making, kind of question mark goals like Joe and Chris. Those people, I'm already going to say you can't join in because then you're like, oh, my goal was 5 and I read 5 comics and now I'm entered to win. No, guys, I'm going to say you have to have at least, and there's been, the normal challenge. I will say this, the normal challenge that I have seen on Twitter multiple years before I made my own challenge was 500 books.
I was going to say that sounds like a good number.
So, and that's 500 comics.
Yeah.
If you want to join me on the challenge, you have to have the minimum for the contest. You need to have a minimum of 500 read. And, send me some screenshots.
10 book reports.
No, I don't need book reports. Send me some screenshots that motivate ourselves. Because for me, I have undiagnosed ADHD. Like I haven't gone to a doctor for it, but I genuinely think that I do. My brain goes all sorts of different ways. I can never be, focused on more than one thing all at the same time and all sorts of stuff. It's crazy. But I love this medium and I want to get, really into it, of course, with the amount of unread stuff that I have. So, let's motivate each other. Send me some screenshots. Tell me what you're reading. I would really love to see what everybody is reading out there. So, that's going to end our episode this week. Now, I will say, me and Travis have a little something special for you guys coming out this week also. We're not going to say what it is, but everybody could. Well, not this week. It's next week.
You
Sorry.
saw my face that time.
Yeah, I was like, I was like, hold on, wait. Again, ADHD.
I was rolling through the mind. I was like, click, 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 click. What's here?
Brain is going all sorts of places. Brain is going all sorts of places. Next week, we're going to have 2 episodes. And we will decide when all of that gets published later on, probably tonight after this podcast.
But we had a little dilemma before we let you guys go. Superman and Lois comes out on Tuesday nights. And we thought because our episodes goes live Monday night and on the podcast feed Tuesday morning, when we talk about the episode, if you don't listen to the podcast Tuesday morning or Tuesday afternoon, there's a new episode of Superman and Lois. You may watch that first. I had this problem with DC TV and when Supergirl was brought into the DCCW and they had to change their show. And that was a potential for us. But instead we thought, especially with the DCCW schedule and the times they take hiatuses, we thought a second episode would be better because it would probably be 4 episodes then a break. Then 2, you know what I mean? So it seems like this was the best way for us to go to keep up, and we want to keep up because of the movies we have going this year. So I'm excited about that, Clay. I can't wait for that show to come back.
Yeah, super excited to talk positive TV shows.
Like Young Justice was last night. I was like, damn, I could have talked about that for another 45. That was awesome.
Well, maybe if you put Young Justice on DCA, maybe.
Hey. Animated stuff.
But it's DC animation. That's the difference.
Well, when you have Peacemaker, Superman and Lois, and other options, and I have no other things going for animation at the time. We gotta. Remember what I said at the beginning of the show? One big team. Yeah. And you reviewed all the episodes of Young Justice, so yeah.
All right, guys. Well, that's gonna be it for this episode. Thank you guys so much for making it this far. Of course, I am Fanboy Clay. He is Travis156, and we will see you guys next week.
Later, everyone.